Welcome to Fine Wineries, where great wines are discovered.
Hi, welcome to Duckhorn Vineyards. My name is Bill Nancarrow. I'm the executive winemaker here in Napa Valley. It's my pleasure today to tell you a little bit about our company and our history. Back in 1976, Dan and Margaret Duckhorn and a small group of friends decided to purchase this 10-acre property where the winery is located. In 1978, we produced our first two red wines, a Three Palms Merlot and a Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. So 31 years later, here we are in the midst of our 2008 harvest, continuing to make those two wines, plus also some special limited production red wines from our estate vineyards here in Napa Valley. We also produce a fantastic Napa Valley Sauvignon Blanc. Well, today I'd like to introduce you to Renee Erie, our assistant winemaker here at Duckhorn Vineyards.
Thank you, Bill. We're here today to taste through the 4 fall release wines.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. You?
Thanks very much.
Couple of vintages involved. The first wine is our 2006 Napa Valley Merlot. It's just about to be released. So this was a fun vintage and stellar harvest season and growing season. How many vineyards do we put into this?
This is taken from 36 vineyards and it's composed of 96% Merlot, 2% Cabernet Sauvignon, and 2% Petit Verdot. So it really lends to a nice full-bodied wine. Yeah,
and it's a true Napa Valley wine because we source fruit from all over Napa Valley. And you know, the valley itself is only around 35 miles long, so it's a fairly small location, but we get fruit from right up the north in Calistoga from a very well-known grower up there, Bruno Solari. Also some fruit from Howell Mountain, which is at elevation around 1,800 feet. And then we go all the way down to Carneros, which is quite a different growing conditions down there. It's still located in Napa Valley, and some fantastic growers down there. Hudson, Hyde are some of our favourites, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. So it really is a true snapshot of how Merlot performs throughout the Napa Valley. So not only do we get fruit from some fantastic growers throughout the valley, this wine also has a percentage of fruit from our own estate-grown vineyards here in the valley, and there are 7 of those, and they're spread out in various locations and really well suited to growing premium red grapes here in Napa Valley. So the next 3 wines we're going to taste are from the 2005 vintage, and these are 3 of our premium Cabernet Sauvignons that we make from our own properties, from our estate vineyards. This first one here is the 2005 Nancarrow Vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon. Here you go, Renee.
Thank you.
So the Nancarrow Vineyard, the name is a pretty interesting story. We have a family, the Hurtado family, who originate from Mexico, and I think at this stage was about 25 members of the family so far.
At least 25.
At least 25 of them. A couple of generations now have worked for Duckhorn Vineyards and helped us in the vineyards and in the wineries, growing the fruit and producing the wines, and they're wonderful, wonderful people. So when we purchased this vineyard back in 1989, and it was the second vineyard or property that we purchased here at Napa Valley, we renamed it Nancarrow in honor of the Hurtado family, and Nancarrow is the name of the town that they all come from back in Mexico. So it's a special wine for them, it's a special property, and they like to go up there after hours and just wander around and make sure the place is absolutely immaculate, and we really appreciate their efforts, don't we?
They do, and they really take pride in making this wine with us.
Yeah, yeah. So when we talk about making single vineyard Cabernet Sauvignons, or Merlots for that matter, what we look for are particular traits from the fruit or the wines from that vineyard that make them stand apart. We'll still use them in blends, and we'll illustrate that a little bit later, but some vineyards have particular characteristics that we like to highlight, and so we do individual bottlings. These are very small bottlings, very exclusive, and this one in particular is a classic. It's one of my favourites. I actually live very close to it as well, so it's easy for me to keep an eye on. Let's taste it and we'll describe it to you.
It's really got that classic olive, earthy undertones that really keep Nancarrow the name.
Yeah, we always talk about an olive characteristic, exactly what Renee said, and it is truly classic Cabernet to me. It has some similarities, I think, to some of the wines from Bordeaux, in terms of that little bit more dryness, and it's a wine that does need age, and it's very rewarding if you can lay it down for at least 6 years. It's a tasty one. 2005 was a very good vintage for us. It was an interesting growing season. We had an abundance of fruit, not dissimilar to 1997. And I would say probably at this stage, I think that the 05 wines are probably better than the 97s. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah, it's tasty. Cheers.
Cheers.
So here's our next single vineyard designated Cabernet Sauvignon. This is the 2005 Monitor Ledge Vineyard Cabernet. Renee, I know this is a personal favourite of yours and one of the wines you pay a lot of attention to in the winery. What is it about this wine that you really like?
It is, and why I really like Monitor Legend, why it's so appealing to me, is just that classic dark red fruit that you just get from year to year. It's consistent, and it always lends to just an intense wine. The 05 in particular has some nice subtle tannin structure, and it just is a little more elegant, and it's just always enjoyable.
All right, well, let's try it. Got a great colour, incredibly dark and dense. Pretty lifted aromas. You mentioned the dark fruits, but I always get a little bit of a red fruit character coming through in this wine as well, which I think gives it a nice complexity, sort of like a red currant characteristic. It's definitely coming through in this vintage. It's got an incredible intensity of flavour, you know, and you're right about the soft tannins. So this vineyard it's located what we describe as being up valley. It's on an alluvial fan, and it's right next to the Selby Creek, which runs dry every year, but it's very stony, cobblestone sort of soil. It's very free draining. Ideal location to have Cabernet Sauvignon growing. It's one of the warmer locations here in Napa Valley. It's very close to the Three Palms vineyard, which we covet the fruit from that vineyard as well, and very similar conditions to that. And this is a fantastic wine. It always is one of our favourites, isn't it?
Yep, personal favourite.
Yeah, good job, well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so as well as doing these single vineyard Cabernets, each year we also try to make a blend of the best Cabernet Sauvignons and also the best Merlots from our own vineyards here in the valley. So this third wine we're going to try from the 05 vintage is our estate grown Cabernet Sauvignon. And it's a wine that's very dear to us, and we think in our minds this is the best that we can do every vintage from our Cabernet Sauvignon. There are 5 vineyard sources for this. This particular vintage, it's the, Renee, what are they? I can't remember.
The Candlestick Vineyard, Stout, Potsimero, Monitor Ledge, and
Rector Creek.
Rector Creek.
Rector Creek.
Yep, those 5.
Yep, so there's a little bit of Howell Mountain fruit in here. Stout and Candlestick are up at Howell Mountain, so it's mountain fruit. Contributes a little bit different characteristics than the vineyards down on the valley floor. And like I say, it's the best of the best. And while I keep talking, why don't I pour it to you, because I know you're dying to try this. So am I. We pay particular care and attention to these premium lots. We handpick all our fruit. We keep all the lots separate. We'll do small ferments, sometimes even just 3/4 of a tonne, to keep a particular block or section of a vineyard separate because we see something special about it. We'll put it into barrel on its own and monitor it throughout its life. This wine is aged for around 20 months and 100% new French oak. So it gets the full treatment, and we really take a lot of care and attention to it. When we come to blending, we have all those wines as separate lots. We assess them for quality and characteristic, and then we spend, gosh, what is it, 2 months trying to come up with this blend. We taste them all individually, we blend them together, we assess that, and we change it, we fine tune it. And it's an intense process, but it's something that at the end of the day is very rewarding. And this is a pretty interesting blend. It was at 79 Cabernet.
And 21% Merlot.
Yeah, so sometimes we use Petit Verdot and Cabernet Franc in the blend. This particular vintage we didn't. We seemed to find that those two varieties work particularly well together. Let's try it.
Wow, that's really a great wine. Some nice vanilla spice flavors and dark red fruit.
It's young. I think, you know, I call this a very tight wine at this stage. I think it needs a few more months in bottle to really start to open up. In fact, in 2 years' time, I think it'll be absolutely delicious. But I agree, there's that vanilla caramel characteristic from the new French oak, which is definitely part of the style that we like to have this wine come out in. But underlying that is classic cassis blackcurrant, a little bit of wild berry, which I'm going to suggest is coming from the Howell Mountain sourcing. It's delicious. I think this is one of our better ones.
I agree.
Yeah, it's very tasty. So don't rely on me to tell you about the wines. Come and join us here at Duckhorn Vineyards in Napa Valley. We have highly educated staff members who can take you through all the different tasting options we have of our limited production wines, tours of the facility, and we can show you how we make the wines as well. Come and join us.